Innovation Fund Manager for the Jeff Lawrence Innovation Fund at FuzeHub. We are about to open the application period for the 2024 Manufacturing Grants Round 1. And new for this year, we introduced a video component to the application. So we thought it'd be more interesting to have people show their technology on video. But with that, we also figured that you might have some questions. If you're applying for this round, what exactly is expected of you to include in the video? So we were brainstorming and came up with this idea to have a sample product and a sample application. So that's what we put together. That's what you're going to see here. We had a lot of fun with it, so hopefully you'll be somewhat entertained. But mostly we aim to be informative. And while you may certainly include humor in your submission, I want to make sure that you are assured that we take every submission very seriously and the review process is taken seriously and we respect everything you submit to us. So that said, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did right and what we could have been better in our little video application as we go through the 5 categories that you must cover in your submission. If any of those categories are not covered in your video, your scoring will suffer and it may cost you the possibility of an award.
Hi, I'm Dr. Theodore Ruxpin with the New York State Center of Advanced Technology focused on systems for automated development, also known as the Sadcat. We are a non-for-profit partner and the main applicant for this manufacturing grant. The Sadcat is a cutting-edge facility dedicated to the development of advanced technology, specifically tailored to mental health and well-being. This center brings together interdisciplinary teams of experts in engineering, psychology, neuroscience, and design to create innovative products aimed at enhancing mental health and promoting overall well-being. Our areas of focus include digital therapeutics, development of evidence-based digital interventions and applications for conditions such as anxiety, depression, and stress, wearable technology, creation of smart wearables with biosensors to monitor and provide feedback on mental health indicators, promoting self-awareness and overall well-being, and artificial intelligence for mental health, which is integration of AI algorithms for personalized mental health assessments, early detection, and adaptive interventions. Our facilities feature research labs, development studios, virtual reality environments, biometric monitoring stations, and an innovation hub, which is a collaborative space where experts from various fields can brainstorm, ideate, and work together to create groundbreaking solutions for mental health challenges.
So you just watched the first session of your video, which should be the introduction of the not-for-profit. You heard from Dr. Ruxpin and his Sadcat. And there's a few things that I think we like about this that I think we did well, right? The first one is that we spelled out the acronym.
Right. Clearly stating what they are so people that aren't familiar with the not-for-profit understand what they are and what they do.
And a full description of the capabilities, right? And everything, so the judges really get to know the not-for-profit organization.
Right.
So that was good, and you know, a minute or two, you don't have to take too long, just enough to fully explain.
Right, enough so that they can understand the capabilities they bring to the project.
Hi, my name is Mia Whiskerberger, and I am the founder of Founder Vibe Solutions. Founder Vibe Solutions is the industry partner in this application. I have worked extensively with startup founders in a previous role, and I noticed that there is a wide range of emotions that go through a founder's psyche as they're working with their startup. From very productive, creative days to low morale and self-doubt and self-questioning, can I do this? Can I succeed? Is this even right for me? Days. And I set out to create a product that supports startup founders where they're most needed. I believe that this emotional roller coaster ultimately leads to founder burnout. So how to avoid that? I did some literature research, I did some initial testings, and I think I came up with an idea for a product that will take founders into well-being mentally and psychologically, and support they're taking their company to success.
Okay, so you just saw section 2 of the video in which Mia Wiskerberger was playing the role of the startup. Important to note that for the manufacturing grant, you don't have to be a startup to be the industry partner, right? You could be a manufacturer. It's just that there's certain subset of the awards go to a startup, but not necessary to be a startup exclusively.
That's a question I get frequently, because there's a little bit of confusion in the language in the guidelines that make people think that this is only for startups.
Right.
For the manufacturing grants, the manufacturer can be in any stage of development.
Right, right. Any other thoughts on that
Well,
section?
you know, you and I talked about people getting too technical and not explaining what they mean. So keep in mind that our judges are generalists. We're not able to have judges that specialize in every industry that applies for the manufacturing grants. So make sure our application obviously was not too technical. And so that's the spirit. Make it easy, digestible, so the judges can understand. They are experts in different fields. They're certainly highly educated people, but they might not be experts in your particular industry. So if there's a very technical side to your application, explain it. That's all we need to, you know, just explain to the judges how it works.
Right.
Make sure we understand. Again,
Yeah, because if the judges don't understand, they won't award full points.
Exactly. That's pretty much it. And so that's how I came up with the concept of the FuzeHub. This is an AI-driven machine learning encompassing gizmo in a pillow-like form with an automated robotic arm that is able to give startup founders hugs, pats on the back, words of support and affirmation. It has a vibrating mode for the days you really need some love. And it also has a listening only mode for the days you're too overwhelmed for words. You will hum along the way to make sure that you know it's still listening. And then when I got to this point and did my research, I got stuck and I didn't know how to continue. How do I take this form into my ultimate vision for this product?
And that's when Mia was introduced to us via FuzeHub.
That's right.
So we were able to take our expertise in engineering, design, machine learning, AI, electronics, and apply that all to what Mia needs in terms of getting this into a final product.
Dr. Ruxpin has been sent by the angels. I am so grateful for this FuzeHub connection and all the knowledge and expertise he has. Dr. Ruxpin has seen what I envision in my head, and in our conversations he has developed the perfect concept. We walked across every step of the way, and I think your expertise is what I need to take this product to market.
Yeah, it's a really good collaboration. We're able to use our expertise, get all of our facilities involved, and commercialize something that actually gets out to the market.
That's so nice. And you've mentioned this is kind of a new line for you guys as well?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
A little different than your usual AI-driven stuff.
Yep, so it's allowing us to get more into a more commercial consumer space.
Very nice. So the third session on your video needs to be the partnership, right? You need to talk about why this not-for-profit with this manufacturing company, why does it make sense? And I particularly think that we did a fantastic job in our humble submission.
Well, our fake companies work really well together.
They really, because they were created by design to be working together, right? But keep in mind, why does not-for-profit? Why does manufacturer, right? Why does it make sense?
Right, and we've seen in the past, you can tell which companies are just trying to grab any nonprofit to help with an application, and those don't traditionally score well. So really try and find somebody that is a good fit. Even beyond the manufacturing grant, is this somebody you would work with outside of this grant opportunity?
That's perfect, right? If you look at it and ask yourself this question, I love that.
Yeah.
Would I work with this company if I did not get awarded by FuzeHub? And if the answer is no, then you should probably look for a different partnership.
Yeah.
So here you can see our lab where we're testing components, materials, functionality. We're using virtual reality and biometrics to test responses as we test this product. We are trying to decide what features to include in the initial version, how much verbal support versus how much hugging, how strong the hugs should be. So there's a lot of test users going through different types of tests so that we can collect all this data and make final decisions for the product. We figured there's a few similar products on the market. For example, we can think of a boyfriend pillow or a hug pillow. There are vibrating chairs. So each one of those products do different parts of what our FuzeHub does, but no other product on the market that we can find combines all these elements into one to fully support startup founders the way we aim to. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about IP. We're not ready to submit anything to get a patent, but we are working towards it. We have an NDA with the Sadcat so that we can keep our secrets in order to submit a patent later in 2024.
So in section 4, we covered the product and how the project might evolve. And a couple important things here. As with the previous section, if there's any technology involved, make sure you explain it fully. Use phrases and terms that people can understand. Also important to talk about, what makes this unique. Are there competitors out there? What intellectual property might you have or might come out of this? It's important to cover those things to show really what is going to make this project and product successful.
There's another thing you mentioned earlier, talk about the competition, right? So make sure, you said a couple of years ago, we felt like there was a lot of applications that didn't address the competition, and the judges found that there were a lot of similar, if not identical, products on the market, right?
It's a common theme. A judge would say, I think this already exists.
Right.
So make sure you're pointing out what makes yours unique. Even if there's indirect competitors, like maybe somebody doesn't have a pillow that has massage feature and heat, right? But maybe there's something that they would use instead, right? So that would be, in that case, that would be our competitor.
Certainly,
right? So.
Yes. One thing I think we did really well, we showed our lab, right? We showed the science, we showed how we were testing the product, we showed the work we've been doing to date on this project. So I'd love to see that in the video application. One thing we did poorly in our personal submission, which is probably going to cost us an award, I'm afraid, we didn't really talk clearly about where the product is now, where the technology is now, and if awarded, where is it going to take us? This is important knowledge for the judges. It's important information for the judges to understand, if awarded, where does that take you, right? So we're going to have to reshoot our whole submission. We need to talk about the economic impacts of this project. So what I envision is that for 2024, there will be no sales. In 2025, we'll have one sale, and that will grow, and you can see the chart on your screen, to about 1,000 sales in 2027. The sales will be divided into the actual pillow, which we estimate will cost about $100 to the consumer, and a subscription service that includes software updates, discount on new products, any new features, access to customer support, and that will cost about $60 a year, so 12 monthly payments of $5, which is very affordable. And with that, we foresee that by 2027, we'll have increased sales of $160,000. If awarded, we'll immediately create a part-time laborer job in-house to start creating the pillows, and then another full-time laborer in 2025. This graph is misleading that it looks like it might be the part-time becomes full-time, but what I envision is actually one part-time plus one full-time. So this is, you gotta keep adding them on this chart. By 2026, I expect that with increased product sales, we'll need to either hire more people or maybe look for a contract manufacturer to start making the spills because it'll be too much for just our full-time and part-time people to be doing it in-house. At that point, I estimate a total of 3 full-time line operators and a full-time manager, and then in the following year, there is a total of 9 new jobs created for the project that far. And there's a little caveat here that I talk about, you know, if we go to an in-house by 2026 and hire all these new people, we're gonna have to also look for new investments to the tune of $550,000 to support new equipment and a facility and the outfitting of the facility and all that to continue to making the FuzeHub. Okay, so you just heard from Mia Whiskerberger about the impacts of this project, and she did a fabulous job, if I may humbly say so, that she really quantified by year, right? She talked about the quality of the numbers, where they come from, right? So this is what we're looking for that we often don't get in the applications.
Yeah, it's okay to make estimates, but it's nice to be able to justify and explain where those estimates came from.
Right.
So I like how you broke it down unit price. I would have liked to see some cost information in there as well.
Okay.
And then on the employees, you know, 1 part-time employee, 1 full-time employee, what are the tasks they're going to be doing?
Perfect.
Right?
Yes, I agree with you.
So just a little bit more detail would have
Yes,
been
the more
perfect.
detail, the more the judges can figure out how realistic these numbers are, because you
Right.
can certainly throw in there that I'm going to create 9 jobs in 5 years, but then the judges have nothing to go off of, right? How are you going to do that?
Exactly.
All right. So this is it. This is just a tiny sample of what we envision the video submission to be for in the manufacturing grants. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you have fun creating it. You know, get creative, but you don't have to. You can use animation, you can use all your video capabilities, but if you have none, if like me, you never actually shot a video yourself, that's okay. Get your cell phone out, just make sure you don't turn it halfway through the shooting so everything is upright. That's all we need. We just need to see you, right? We need to see your product, and we need you to talk about it instead of writing it out. Easy peasy. So good luck. I hope to get those applications coming soon, and we'll give everybody feedback and we'll let everybody know the results around April, right before we're ready to open for round 2. So stay tuned. Thank you.